All right, we are on air. It is Thursday, June 11th, and we're just going to do a quick check-in on design tasks for Backdrop CMS, starting with backdropcms.org, our website. Last we left our heroes, we had a design for the Find a Module page, which I still haven't built yet, and we are waiting on a design for the module page itself, which I think, Darius, you were working on. I don't know if you have anything new to show us since last time. Possibly not. But I think that's probably what we need most urgently, because we finally have modules on backdropcms.org, and it would be great to let people find them. So I'm happy to build the page on a local site that lets people find them, but until we have that actual design for the page itself, we probably shouldn't launch that. I mean, we could always launch it default and then change it later, but it depends how bad the default looks out of the box. Other things we're working on are the Find Themes page and the Theme Project page, the Find Layouts page, and the Layout Project page. And those should all shortly follow the modules section and should closely resemble them in design as well. And then once we get all of these pages publicly visible, we're probably going to get people who want to edit the pages, like a module maintainer who wants to add notes or photos or something to their module page. And in that case, we should clean up the display of the edit form as well. So we'll eventually get there. Other things we get to work on, we have a style guide that was kind of hacked together from a really, really early version of Backdrop, and then we modified the snot out of it. And now we have taken all of our style guide design changes and pushed them back into Backdrop. So it would be great if we could take Backdrop, create a static HTML version of it, and push that up as our new style guide. Then when we get working JavaScript, we could get our drop-down menus, we could get our modals, everything that's supposed to be dynamic would be working in a dynamic example on the style guide itself, and then we can go ahead and make the remaining style guide changes directly to that, and we get a little bit better of an idea of how things are supposed to work. So I put a little to-do down there for rebuilding the style guide, but I didn't assign anyone. I think maybe I should make an issue for that too, so that if somebody wants to jump in and work on that, we can use the style guide contrib project, which should be able to help us create at least a page that we want to work on, and then Wes just claimed it. And then we can convert that to static HTML. So putting your name on this, Wes, in the agenda. Okay, and then that I think will help us move forward. We don't have a lot of things that are totally need a lot of work from now on, but I think it will be great to have a nice clean starting point for when those do change. All right, next up is Backdrop the product. We have a fancy new admin theme that went into 1.1. There are a couple of minor issues that are follow-ups to the big admin theme changes. I noticed that, Wes, you've done a ton of work on all of these little follow-up issues too, and I think they're all currently sitting in the pull request review queue. Exciting news on that. We did get our Backdrop intern back this year, and one of his first tasks was to do a first review of all of the pull requests that are in the queue. So he's been working on that for the last few days, and that should help us. If there's anything obviously wrong, we can reject them really fast, and if they're actually ready to be committed, they can be pushed over to Nate's queue, and he can kind of deal with them a little bit more efficiently that way. So hopefully that will help us move through some of our pull request review bottleneck. All right, so there are a whole bunch of other things that could always use some design or user experience cleanup in core. We have a couple of huge ones mentioned here, like the layouts UI. We have a meta issue with all of the things that we know that we left out of the layouts UI. We just kind of put in minimum viable layout UI when we first put it in, and so we've got a whole bunch of thoughts and work on improving that UI. I know we've got pull requests in that queue too, and they also aren't being reviewed, so hopefully that'll get worked out soon. Field UI is another part of core that has been problematic ever since the beginning of Fields in Drupal. And it's the kind of thing where we have this super powerful tool, and it's really hard to design a really slick efficient UI for something that's super powerful. So it was bad when it was first created. It got worse in Drupal 7 because of the way that fields were separated into smaller parts. And now we've just kind of put what we had in Drupal 7 into Backdrop, so we've inherited all of this legacy confusing UI stuff. We have a meta issue on how to clean it up. We've linked to all of the issues in Drupal.org for ideas on how to clean it up. That is going to be a really hard user experience problem to solve, so I'm not counting on that getting done overnight, but that's definitely something I want to have on this agenda for working on in the future in case we get anyone who's super interested in trying to solve these problems. And another thing that has always been kind of a nightmare in Drupal is the views UI. It actually got a significant improvement in Drupal 7, and we've inherited Drupal 7's views UI, but there are things inherently about the views UI that are confusing that could probably use some cleanup. So we've got an issue in there for that, although I'm not sure we have a meta issue in Backdrop for cleaning up the views UI. It's just something that it's hard, and I think that if we could if someone wanted to think about trying to make it more intuitive, that would be fabulous. Another thing we have on the list here for Backdrop is coming up with a new front-end design. We have some work going on for improving Bartik, which is the front-end theme we have right now. We've also been mentioning that it would be great if we could put in a kind of a blank slate theme that people could actually ship a site with in Backdrop. We currently have Radix or Radix, which is a great theme that includes a lot of Bootstrap stuff, which makes kind of a blank slate site that you can launch with. It's a great base theme, but it would be really nice if we had more than one theme that we could kind of say, hey, let's put a new front-end theme in core. Here's a couple of examples of front-end themes that we want to move into core and have some kind of pros and cons of each, figure out what the strengths and weaknesses are, and try and clean those up as that goes into core. Right now we've got one great contender. It would be great if we had more. Again, these things don't need to go in any particular version of Backdrop. Like whenever they're ready, we can put them in. But because this is our design UX meeting, I'd like to talk about them here. So anyone who's watching this wants to work on design stuff, wants to start a front-end theme that's nice and blank slatey but beautiful and can launch, we need one of those. So start it in Contrib, and we'll review it. We'll create a core issue for Move It to Core and discuss possibilities of that there. We also have a tag in our GitHub issue queue, which is audience design. So as we come up with issues for Backdrop that require either design feedback or user experience review, we'll be tagging them with audience design. So if you're a designer and you want to just take a quick look over all the open issues against Backdrop that need design expertise, there's a tag there specifically for that. All right, more fun stuff. In the swag department, we have a couple of things that we need. Our next scheduled Backdrop event is Bad Camp. Date's actually still pending for that. So I'm just going to say need by October. And hopefully we'll be able to hand out t-shirts and stickers and all that stuff at Bad Camp. Of course, there will be a bunch of people who are attending other maybe not Backdrop sanctioned events, but Backdrop friendly events all through the rest of the summer and fall. If anyone is doing a talk on Backdrop and wants to hand out swag, let us know, and we'll try and get stickers either shipped to you or if we have them in a way that you can hand them out at your talk too. So I think that would be pretty cool. We need to order some more stickers. I've got some to-do items here for me. Order some more dragon stickers and order some more wordmark stickers. I think we used Sticker Robot for our favorite wordmark stickers, and those took a while to get out. The Sticker Robot stickers came from were the dragon stickers, and those were, I think, maybe those were Sticker Robot, Sticker Mule. I don't remember. They were a huge success. Wherever it was we ordered them from, we'll order more, and we can get those.
Yeah, Sticker Mule was the dragons, and Sticker Robot was the horizontal squares.
The squares or the horizontal word marks?
The horizontal word mark, and then PS Print was the squares.
Okay, so we didn't use Sticker. The other
Mule.
one. Sticker Mule.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought Sticker Mule was the dragon.
I suggest all things robots. If time.
Yeah, Sticker Robot actually was probably the highest quality sticker, but it took for frickin' ever.
That's
Yeah.
probably took like the thing.
I think we should order Sticker Robot stickers for the wordmark stickers because we still have some of those left. But we're out of dragon stickers, so I think we should order Sticker Mule stickers for dragon so we can get those soon. And then I also think we should send dragon stickers to anyone who's doing a backdrop talk so they can hand them out wherever they go. So
Yeah.
if you're doing a backdrop talk and you want stickers, let us know, and we can print them quickly and send them to you. For now, we'll try and get some better ones, slowly. Okay, other things we need. I really want to make a dragon t-shirt, but we need to figure out how to handle two colors and how we want the dragon to appear on the t-shirt. And that might require hiring our dragon illustrator to draw us another dragon in another position, maybe, like a flying dragon or a fire-breathing dragon. I don't know. I think it would be good
I want to have a dragon front on dragon with the wings spread out.
Little tiny wings spread out.
Yeah, not as. Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, not entirely dissimilar to the 4 kittens shirt, and now there's the one cat that's like standing up on its back feet with his paws up. Yeah, exactly. only a dragon.
Okay. Well, I think we should, and I'll do this. I'll email the guy today, or maybe someone, whoever. New dragons. And at least see how long that will take. And then if it's going to take too long for us to get new dragon drawings and we still need to order dragon t-shirts, we maybe should go with the dragons we have. But we still need to figure out how to get the dragon we have, or the new dragon, whichever dragon, onto a t-shirt. And I would like to do a 2-color print rather than a 1-color print. All of our previous t-shirts have been 1 color to save on cost so that we could, I don't know, get them done quickly also. And I think if we could do 2 colors, we could get the dragons like underbelly stripes and stuff, which I think add a lot of fun. Yeah, so we need to figure out how to position that on a t-shirt in a way that makes any sense. So Darius, I have that assigned to you with a question mark.
Are you saying you definitely want this one and then maybe another illustration for a shirt?
No, I'm saying first I'll find out about the illustration, and once we figure out whether we have a new illustration, we'll use the current one. Then maybe we'll turn it over to you to figure out how to put it on a t-shirt.
Cool. Yep.
And so I think it's lower priority. Obviously, getting like the website done first is more important, but we should think about ordering t-shirts sooner rather than later.
Gotcha.
So I'll start on the drawing thing now. So hopefully by the next meeting we'll have some information on the dragon info. Okay. So that's all I have in terms of swag. I don't know if it's worth us doing more than the stickers and the t-shirts right now. That both of those have been so successful lately that I think maybe we should just stick with what's working. So, okay. Swag's over. Branding assets. So this is also something I threw in this meeting because every now and then I look at our Twitter page and I realize I've got this random image I saw from the internet with this background that's like a fractal-ish repeating pattern. If anyone's watching this video and they're looking for some nice low-hanging fruit design tasks that need to be done, we could definitely use background imagery for Twitter or Facebook or any of our social media presences. They like need images of all sorts of random sizes. I think it would be great if we could get that sorted out too, and that could be the kind of thing if someone has an hour here or there and want to just throw something together. We need it. You can do it. It would help us a lot. That might be a great place to jump in and get started. So that's that. Let's see. And then we also have an item on here for our human interface guidelines. So this is kind of stepping back from the project a little bit and saying, you know, one of the things that makes like Apple products so slick in terms of their design is that they have really good guidelines around how things should be. And one of the things that makes Drupal so core in some of its design choices is that there are no guidelines for anything. And so every developer who's implementing an interface chooses to do it in a particular way that maybe doesn't match any other interface anywhere else in Drupal. And so it would be really great for Backdrop if we could say, okay, well, we're starting with what Drupal had for sure. But if we could impose some guidelines around like when you should use a drop button or when you should use a vertical tab, then people who are building interfaces would have some rules to follow, and not necessarily that they need rules, but they need guidance as to how to create a cohesive whole, like how to create a bunch of interfaces for a bunch of different things that all are intuitive to people who use it, so you don't have to learn how to use a different interface for each module. So a couple months ago, we had someone who was super excited about coming in here and writing these guidelines, and we got started on it. We created a project in GitHub, and I don't know what it's using, Jekyll or something, I don't know, built out an outline for what the guidelines should contain, but we haven't had anybody who's had the time to go through and add all of the design and user interface patterns that we have today, as well as some suggestions for things that maybe we want to include for the future. So it's just kind of an empty document for now. I think if we had someone who maybe didn't want to contribute code or was super interested in human-machine interface patterns and wanted to like spend some time studying something like this, it's another place where I think it would really benefit our project to have this document completed. But it is maybe less important than some of the other stuff that some of our currently active contributors are working on. So if we have anyone new who's looking for a place to jump in, that's another place where someone could totally own that if they wanted to just show up and start hammering on it. So another place that's super easy to get started on. So that was all I had in the agenda for today, but I did want to open this meeting up and see if there was anything else we should be talking about in the world of design, anything we should add to the agenda and talk about weekly, or anything we should just talk about as of right now, where things stand.
So I took a look at what Wes did with the field sets. Made a couple of updates to that, so if you guys want to check that out. Awesome. Yeah.
I like it. I could totally get that in quickly.
I just stripped down what you gave me a little bit, but thanks for getting that started.
Cool.
I think it's cute.
Yeah, I'd love to get that in. Yeah, we still have that meta issue open for the new style guide that has like 2 or 3 items remaining in it, including field sets. I'm not sure if we want to leave that open. It might be a good idea just to kind of shut it down, or maybe make a new.
We could split off field sets.
I don't know.
And close that if you wanted.
Yeah,
I feel like if we don't have any style guide changes for the other elements, we should just close it and say there's nothing here we need to worry about.
Is this part of the layouts UI that needs attention?
No.
Okay, so it looks the same to me when I go to the issue, or a 370. So 345 is all of the different various issues, right? Is that like the meta issue? Okay. So I guess 373. No, oops, I just had it. Sorry. 1 second. Wrong issue. Field UI. I mean, so field UI. This is part of it, isn't it?
Well, I mean, field sets are on like every interface everywhere and don't really have anything to do with fields, which is a little confusing. A field set is just a HTML element, and we're just trying to make styles for field sets everywhere. Field UI is like, okay, I'm going to create a content type, and this content type needs an image field and a node reference field and whatever. And just the act of like, how do you add an image field to a basic page? Like, there's this weird grid of all of these fields across the page with like 2 add buttons at the bottom, and one of them is like add new and the other one's add existing. And then when you add them, you go to another screen, and you don't realize like sometimes it's another screen followed by another screen followed by another screen, and sometimes it's just one screen, and then like the second screen has the same fields as the first screen. It's just really confusing interface for people to try and figure out how to like construct a thing. And I mean, that's just kind of arrived at that interface because of what we're doing to the database underneath it. So this is a developer-driven design, which is not always the best way to do things. Whereas I think if we started from user experience perspective and say, what is it we're trying to build? How do you put these things together? We might end up with something that works more like the layouts UI, which is like, here's a palette of things and you can drag them in or, position them on the page. And then rather than having that like drag and drop your order, you can actually position them into like left sidebar, right sidebar, bottom. So there's just a whole bunch of.
What's the current implementation of it at the admin area?
If you go to admin structure, content types, manage fields.
Okay.
On any of those content types, that'll show you what it looks like now. And we just have a lot of the same concepts in field UI and layouts UI of like the concept is where do I put this thing on the page, right? But we've got different UIs for it. Like one of the UIs is like we're going to give you a table and you're just going to drag and drop things vertically. And the other one is we're going to give you a
Can you repeat that path again, Jen?
Well, it's if you go to admin and then structure.
Structure, where's structure? Let me see.
It's over next to.
Okay, structure, yep.
And then content types.
Okay.
And then on one of those content types, there's a manage fields.
Okay.
And then and there's both manage fields, which is like how do you add fields to the thing, and then there's manage display, which is like how do you control what they look like when the thing is finished. So one of them is like the input form, and one of them is the output of the data. And so that's kind of a weird like distinction of concepts too. And then in field UI, we handle the how do you render the output of the data, but in a very different, in layout UI, in a very different way than in field UI. So we've got the same concept with completely different interfaces. And I think that we could learn a lot from layout UI to field UI if there was a way that we could have like the layout for a content type appear on the manage display page. Like we could, I don't know, there's some magic that we could work in there, but I don't know.
If you guys have time in the near future, well, I guess there's so many things that we have to do. I needed to focus on the modules page first, but yeah. I'd like you to walk me through that though eventually.
Okay. I think this is also
it's
something.
It's hard for me to wrap my mind around it. Like it's just kind of scattered.
It's hard for me to map too. I've worked with it for years. Yeah.
Step one: ignore everything that is there.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so it's definitely on the back burner for me though. Anyway, right now, I'm interested in that.
Okay. Yeah, I think it would be a really fun problem to solve. It might require some API changes, so it might be something we can't do until Backdrop 2 anyway. But I think like thinking about the problem now and trying to see like what improvements we can make to the existing UI versus what's going to require like a rewrite is a good way to, start with the perfect end goal and then say, oh, well, these two things we can do now and everything else has to wait. I think is a perfectly fine way to approach that. It's hard to get there, though. Anything else we should talk about now?
I just wanted to mention Doc Wilmot has been going through and porting themes, it looks like. It's issue 982. The issue is just really simply titled, "We Need More Themes," which is definitely true. And I think what he's trying to do is just seed some themes in our Backdrop contrib repository so that we've got more than 3, I think is maybe what we have right now. And he's just going through and porting themes from other projects, which seems just like a nice idea to just kind of bulk up the options for people using Backdrop. So that's pretty cool. And I would encourage anybody else that is just lost with all of the potential tasks that could be done, find a really nice looking theme and port it to Backdrop. And that's a standalone task that anybody can tackle that would get you familiar with the new layout system and the theme system. And it would be super helpful to us as a project. That's all I got.
Cool. One more thing. Did you guys get to work on any kind of milestone mapping or anything for the rest of the design work that we wanted to talk about? The modules page and whatever else there was.
Yeah, I don't think we've come up with a roadmap yet. And a
Okay.
timeline.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Whenever, let me know if you need help with that, because it's too easy to procrastinate when there's nothing in stone just yet. So.
Okay. Well, I would love to get the modules page done soon, like maybe by next week. I don't know what your schedule's like.
All right, let's take a look if you want to right now. Let me see. Next week is looking relatively open. Do you want to shoot for next Thursday, maybe?
Yeah, let's see if you can just start and show us something by next Thursday. It doesn't have to be done, but just some kind of like, this is what I'm thinking, kind of big picture thing. That would make me really happy.
Awesome. I like it.
So I'm going to put version 1 due June 18th. Okay, and then I'll put some dates on some of these other things too, but I think like we should focus on getting that done before we start the next thing.
And what we need is the node page and then just a couple revisions on the landing page.
Yeah. And I think the landing page is probably close enough that like
it was close enough to at least start on.
I could start building that.
Okay.
All right. Well, if that's it, then let's go ahead and wrap this meeting, and we will do the next one in about half an hour.
Cool.
Quick question on the style guide repo. Is anyone particularly attached to anything about it right now?
I don't think there's anything in there that we haven't already implemented, with the exception of maybe the progress bar. Nate, do you know if the progress bar stuff is in Backdrop 1 yet?
Yeah.
It is?
Yeah, it's totally in there. Yeah, it was in the 1.1 release.
Okay, so yeah, everything in there is up to date, and the new stuff is like what you're working on for the field sets. That's like what's not in there. So
got it. Okay,
I was cool. Throw it out, and we can or create a new branch or something, like copy that one onto an old branch, and then
Yep.
That would be
cool. And Wes, let me know if you have any questions about my designs or want help with QA or anything.
Oh yeah, cool. We'll do.
All right.
Okay. Sounds great. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Yeah, thank you, guys.